Hello and welcome back to the Remnant 2 Forgotten Kingdom DLC. So, between episodes, I quickly actually went to the Guardian in the Labyrinth, and if you talk to him with the Soul Stone that we got, or we would have got from Clawbone in the last dungeon, had we sided with him, you take that, you go to the Guardian, you say, hey, can you purify this? He goes, yeah, no worries, here you go. This is what you get. Soul Stone, where it's 30% summon damage increase, summon movement speed increased by 30%. The other way we can do this is if we get it again, we can talk to the Guardian, be like, hey, can you purify this? And then be like, nah, I don't wanna. And then you go back to the dungeon, go back to Clawbone, talk to him, and you get a relic. Is the relic good? It gives you, I think, lifesteal passively. So it's okay. But we don't have that, so can't really say much about it. That said, it is nice to know how to actually purify it, because I wasn't 100% sure before. I do like all the little kind of callbacks where it's like, hey, you should go back to this old area and do a thing. See, a lot of people always forget about this spot. You're not missing anything, it's literally just iron. But people always... I've had a few runs with people and they forget about that and then they're like, oh, I wanted to get that, and it's like, you're not missing anything. So we have, I believe, the way to the dungeon or the other way. So we're gonna go the other way first. Also, I should mention, I have gotten some items from this DLC prior, plus running through like normal Yaesha, some items spawn, but I'm not going to use any of them, and I mean that in the sense of like, certain items will have certain interactions with certain NPCs, and I don't want to activate those. Because even though I have run through parts of this, I want this to be as close to a like first time run, so that if you haven't gone through this yet, you kind of understand what's going on, and you don't have a instance where I'm wearing something, I get different dialogue, and then you're sitting here going, wait, why are they saying that? Why don't I have that? Yeah, we'll come back to that guy later. Doesn't really mean much if we do, but for completionist's sake, we'll come back and talk to him.
Alright, let's...
Oh yeah, there's our other big reskinned enemy. One of the root monsters from Root Earth. Reskin. The thing I don't understand is, so we have Clawbone here, but these guys aren't red root, they're blue root. And I don't know if that means anything, or if it's just, hey, we want to match the blue and purple aesthetic of the area. I feel like it was more just aesthetic choice, which is fine. I'm not going to sit here and fault it. It's just one of those things where if you don't really think about it too much, or from like a design perspective, and you're just like, hey, why aren't they red? It's kind of weird. I've been really hoping for some of the anomalous mini-bosses so I can get more shards to make corrupted weapons. I have the... which one is it? Corrupted Nebula. It's okay. It's just kinda hit and miss. If the nanobot duration was better, I'd be happy, but 8 seconds, sometimes it's just not enough time.
This is it.
Oh no, this is... yeah, this is actually the way we have to go for, I think, the main mission. Then I'm gonna double back, because there should be another way. Or this is actually the right way and I'm just wrong, which is completely possible. This whole DLC, like, the zone isn't huge, but it's big enough that you start to lose track of things. Okay, yeah, so we come here later. I was wrong, that's my bad. But it is good to know, because otherwise this was gonna eat at me until I got answers.
It's over?
So we'll travel along the bottom here and then go up top, just to make sure everything's clear. Because there are a few loot spawn points throughout here that might have a new ring. Actually, when we kill this guy, I'll go over the ones I know I have that are new. The shovel is fun, but a lot of people don't know what I'm doing when I just start digging. And it's also completely random when you're gonna get ammo. I have a feeling it's tied to how much total ammo you have, but I don't know for certain. But rings that I know are new. So I know Bloodless King's Vow is one. 4% base range damage is lifesteal. There is... nah, Captain's Insignia is old. Floodlit Diamond is a new one, because that's against exposed enemies. Increased weak spot damage, bonus is double against exposure. That will work really well with a weapon later on. I think Game Master's Pride's an old one. Ghoul Signet, I think, is a new one. Increased damage reduction by 10%. Each weight class above light reduces the damage reduction, so it's like, I think, Flynn's Ring from Souls games. Matriarch's Ring, I think that's a new one. Not really noteworthy. Perfect Dodge. Reduces charge melee stamina cost. Yeah, and then Thalos Islet. Grants 1 stack... oh wait, there's another ring like this, I think. Or no, this is the only one I have. Grants 1 stack of Bulwark, also grants 2 stamina regen per second for each Bulwark stack, increases Bulwark limit from 5 to 6. So if you really wanted to, you could do a Bulwark build, which is something I've looked at before. Because you run that, You run... Dried Clay Ring, grants a bulwark. Oh yeah, this is the other one. Colcat Eyelet, grants 1 stack of bulwark, increases health regen by 0.3 per second for each stack of bulwark. So, if you gave up 3 for these bulwarks, you'd baseline have 3 bulwark. You run Whispering Marble, you go up to 6 bulwark. You're getting 12% damage because of Whispering Marble. All damage by 50% of the damage reduction granted by bulwark. So you would get... I can't remember if 6 gives you 5% more or what, but even then right now you're getting 12.5% extra damage, plus you're getting stamina regen, plus you're getting health regen, which is going pretty high. You could build out a pretty interesting build. It's just kind of, is it worth it? I think kind of this slight bulwark summon build is good. My big thing is just, I could probably get rid of the heal. My thing is just, I think that, like, my passive healing while the ring is active applies to my summons, and even though it's not a lot anymore, it's something to keep them alive. Even though I really don't need to, considering I'll just pop a relic. There's a lot of potential. I do like, really, the stuff with Bulwark. I think it's really added a new avenue for builds. I just wonder... I wonder what they're going to do to them, because you're either going to have a few more items get added, and then that's going to be the Bulwark build and it's done, or it's going to be a long supported build with a lot of stuff, and it risks being really overpowered. Because I could see maybe another class having Bulwark, or an archetype having Bulwark tied to it, or something in that vein. But I don't know. Last DLC that we know of right now is Nerud. Who knows where that's going? There's talk of DLCs beyond that. Yep, Matriarch Ring. But I don't know where they're gonna go past DLC 3. If they're gonna do another small set, or they're gonna do bigger DLCs, maybe go back to ROM, or go back to Resum. It'd be cool, but I don't really know. It's one of those things where I feel like if they wanted to do the other elements, they probably should have integrated them at least a little already. Which is why I don't think they're gonna do Resum or they're gonna do ROM. Because Radiation will either get rolled into a bunch of other stuff, and it'll be just like a blight, which I think is a bit boring. It's already a little unfair considering we don't get to do Curse, but that's a blight that can afflict us. I don't think it's too big of an ask to say, hey, if the enemy can do it to us, we should be able to do it to the enemy. I think this is an old Yaesha zone. That was a problem that I kind of had with this, is they had one spot, and I think this is it, where it's just an old DLC, or old dungeon that they just kind of repurposed. But I don't fully remember. Because the new enemies are one thing, but I do remember having to fight the... what is it? The, like, Hive Mother. The giant, like, floaty thing. I remembered having to fight that in one of the dungeons here. And I was like, oh, why are we here again? That isn't this one. I remember the name of that one. Not off the top of my head, but if I saw it, I'd instantly go, oh, that one. I think I know which one this is, though. This should be a new boss. It's the one I'm thinking of. It's an okay boss. I'm not gonna say it's bad, but I'm not gonna say it's a good one either. It's unique. And I will give credit where credit is due. Unique bosses can be fun. It's just sometimes bosses end up being a little more focused on the aesthetic than the encounter. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, it looks cool, but this fight blows. Like a couple of the strikes in Destiny. Specifically Destiny 1. There was a strike in the Cosmodrome where you fought, I think it was a Hive Witch. But it was just the most bland fight, and you would get forced out of the actual, like, boss room so often that you just hang out in the hallway and occasionally shoot in. It was a bad boss. Which is a shame, but you know, what can you do? I will say having the one ring that gives you a shield when you pick up ammo and resources is really nice to have, to just kind of passively run by and pick everything up. It was a great set of rings to have when leveling all the archetypes up. Because I didn't mention it last time, but you more or less have to have them maxed out to get mythics for your relic. So I was just drinking the Mudtooth's elixir for like 15% XP boost. I was using one of the rings that gives you an XP boost. It was totaling like 25% XP, which it's not the greatest, but I'll take 25% more XP that I don't have to grind out. I kind of wish, now that I think about it, that you could just get the relic stuff on higher difficulties, but I get the idea. Because otherwise, what's stopping someone from just going in, starting like a fresh character, getting all the bonuses? Because you can look, plus 15% health, plus 10% range damage, plus 20% healing effectiveness. All those add up really well. And it would be kind of unfair to just be like, oh yeah, you're level 1, but you have all these fairly stacked effects that I think are more noticeable on low difficulties. High difficulties, yeah, you're getting just pummeled anyways. Who cares? But you could just go back to low difficulty and do all this. Well, that was unfortunate. I was hoping he was going to stay alive a little longer so I could heal him. Wasn't even paying attention to my summons. That's what I kind of hate by nerfing the healing ring. Really don't get the devs' decision on that. We had a good thing going, and then sealed resin loop. Yeah, that was the dodge one. I don't know anybody who runs an actual, like, legitimate dodge build. It's also kind of funny because I think they nerfed a couple of the dodge build items. And I'm just sitting here thinking, come on, it's not like... It's not that strong. The only thing I think you could get away with is it synergizes with Invader. Because I want to say their ability that lets them automatically dodge an incoming attack counts as a perfect dodge. But if that's what you're really trying to prevent, you got other problems going on than that. Swear to God. Hate those things. Yeah, that's a little ominous. I'm gonna come back to that. But yeah, like, a Dodge God build is not that crazy in this. It's not like Payday 2 Dodge God, where I think if you built it right, you peaked out at like 75% dodge chance. And that was a constant. You'd get hit and take no damage. So if a PvE game can exist with that, this game can certainly exist with a little bit of a strong dodge build. But admittedly, I don't know what Gunfire Games really considers balanced. And this is something I've heard multiple times. When it comes to game balance, it doesn't really exist. It's more just kind of vibes. Does something feel powerful? Does it not? You can consult some data, but sometimes it's just like, the vibe is off. Tweak it. Is that fair? Is that right? I don't think so. But that's kind of the curse of balance. You either have a game that's power crept to the nth dimension, or you go with the vibes. And there are worse ways. Destiny always stands out as a terrible example of balancing issues, where they just flat out said, yeah, we just kind of pick a season, and we pick a weapon type, and that'll be the good one for the season. Oh, I think I know this one. Yeah, this is the boss I was thinking of. Yep. Alright, we're gonna go back to that hole. I am curious of what that is. Because I thought that was the boss spawn as like a drop-in, and I was like, I've never seen that. And I've never seen that drop in, so I'm really confused. Because I've done this fight a few times, and I've never seen that spot. Or maybe I'm just blind. It could be both. Let's not lie to ourselves. I do forget things. Yeah, it's this way. Oh, I should also mention the Echo of the Forest. Don't need that on. It only has two effects. The one door, and then if you talk to the main person in the story, who also doubles as the boss, you get some extra dialogue. Okay. What a strange little place. I dig it, though. Token of Favor, that's a new one. Increases all damage by 5%, gain critical chance against exposed targets. Yeah, this DLC is definitely expose heavy, which I think expose already existed prior to this, but it was like one thing. I think it was like a dodge ring or amulet that's like, oh, if you perfect dodge, this enemy gets exposed. And of course nobody did it because no one's doing dodge builds. But I can tell you here and now, the Invoker can expose enemies, and one of the final boss weapons can expose enemies. Let's try a series of things here. We'll go Seal of the Empress and Red Doe Sigil. You doing anything? Okay, it doesn't. Figured I'd try. With this game, you never know. Even though data miners have effectively gutted this game and have told us everything that's included, I feel like there's always a chance there's just something else. Or some little thing that people kind of forget exists, and then it's like, oh, hey, I didn't know this. And because the Wikidot site is terrible, and they'll have stuff that's completely missing. If you ever want a good laugh, look at some of the Wikidots for, like, I think they have one for the Ascent. I know they have one for Outriders. They're practically barren. It's kind of sad, honestly. I don't think the Tremor is going to work on this boss. I'll try it. You know, we'll do this for science. Yeah, that didn't work. Yeah, welcome to this boss fight. It's kind of dumb. You see what I mean by it feels like it was more built for just like the aesthetics than the actual boss fight, because it feels really kind of clunky. And that won't do anything, but might as well hit him.
How's that, huh? Oh, tough? Yeah, you ain't so bad.
And since I already had it, we got the Forge Ember. We'll get a mod out of this once we get to a proper big world stone. We'll head back and show you it. I'll be honest, it's not that great. It's another one where I'm like, okay, maybe if you're like a melee build, or you're using the mutator that gives you like boosted damage to enemies within 7 meters, and you're just running like a shotgun. But at that point, this is already getting a little too convoluted for a build. Maybe like a challenger, but I don't know. Not to mention, if you're using the like within 7 meters get a damage bonus thing, put on either Nebula or Hellfire, because they have an 8-meter range hard cut. So at least you're getting like maximum benefit all the time.
Looks important.
We gotta go talk to Walt, but you gotta pull this, so we're just gonna pull the lever off rip. Now that whole platform is gonna move down, which is pretty cool. And that opens up that way. It also opened that door so we can go through there, but we got Walt to speak with and his new discoveries, thanks to his new mural.
Such power. Oh, it is nice to see a familiar face around these parts, even if it is a strange and hornless one. It has arrived at an opportune time. See, I have found another mural. This one is more than I could have ever dreamed of. This discovery is downright exhilarating. The implications, the possibilities, it's overwhelming in the best of ways. Excuse me, I have a tendency to get carried away. Is my Paxotic friend in need of something?
Let's go through the questions. What did you discover?
Listen well. Thalos survived the plague that had long haunted the man. After falling ill, he began hearing an unusual sound that seemed to come from the ground itself. Music. Strange music, with no instruments or voice to carry it. He ventured out to find the source. What he found was her, Lydusa, a goddess of stone. In exchange for a year of companionship away from his people, she promised to cure him and give him the means to cure the others. He agreed.
What happened to his tribe?
In his time away, the plague had ravaged his tribe. But he was able to save those who remained and start over anew. The goddess had granted him an unusually long life, and he ruled over the Pan for several prosperous centuries. The Pan worshipped their new goddess, building a temple and singing her praises. Here is the exciting part. It is said that she grew fond of the Pan and actually taught them how to use her power over the living stones.
This means a lot to you, doesn't it?
Yes. Yes, it does. Everything, as it were. See, I have been chasing this dream since I was a child. I was a commoner, born for nothing but bloodshed and servitude. But I did not want that for myself. I wanted to believe the lost tribe was real, that they were out there somewhere. So I studied, became as clever and useful as I could, and at a young age, I was chosen to serve Genus herself. After many years of loyalty, I was assigned to a mission to explore the uncharted jungle. It was the chance I had been waiting for. So, here I am, chasing my dreams across cave and jungle. And finally, I am nearing the answers I have long sought. I am on the trail, my friend. They could still be out there. Or if not, perhaps the secret of their power over stones.
I hope it works out for you.
This could change my life. Change our whole society. Oh, but one step at a time. I must not get ahead of myself. There is still much to unravel. Understood, my friend. Take a look. So soon? Well, if it must go...
Yeah, the Sweet Leaf giving 30 seconds of one bulwark is kind of rough. Even with Alchemist boosting it to a minute, it's not that good. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.